Mr. X needed money for his house rent. Then he downloaded one of these online loan apps. Then something happened. He couldn't pay back on time and he was arrested. This is something many people have either experienced or know someone who has. And then the big question, when did owing money become a crime? To unpack this today, we have with us Mr. Dolapo Olajigbe, a legal practitioner. Good afternoon. So good to have you.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
So let me even ask directly. Are police debt recovery agency, or is it even illegal to arrest someone for owing money?
Thank you. To answer both questions straight and direct, no. No, the Nigerian police are not debt recovery agents. Neither is it lawful for you to arrest anyone who is indebted to you.
Is this just misuse of power or misunderstanding of the law?
It's both. Why not trying to be too legal? There are quite a number of cases decided by the apex courts and the appeal courts describing situations where people have out of the fact that there's a little bit of power, arrested debtors or used the police to arrest their debtors, and the court came down heavily on them, lashed them, both the police and the supposed creditor.
And on this debt recovery, is it a civil or criminal matter?
Long and short, debt recovery will always be a civil matter. If you enter into contract with someone and for one reason or the other, that person could not honor the terms of the contract, and because you want to enforce the terms of the contract, it remains a civil contract.
Can you help us to understand something clearly?
Yes.
What are the differences between civil and criminal matters?
Civil matters are matters purely between one or two persons that are not criminal. It might sound vague by that definition, but civil matters are just matters that occur, that are happening in our day-to-day life, that have no element of crime in it. You purchase a land, you rented a house from a landlord, you borrowed money from your bank or from a third party, you bought a defective appliance, or even lend money to a friend. All these are matters that are in civil. Why criminal? Criminal are offenses created by statutes, meaning something is criminal if it has been created by law to be criminal, which means as a punishment when that crime or that offense is committed. So the difference is criminal makes there's an offense. It is created by statute, it's created by the law or other of the state or the Federal Republic of Nigeria that says this is an offense and it has punishment attached to it. Civil is not an offense. The civil matter is a matter that is not an offense.
At what point, if at all, does debt cross into criminal territory?
At what point? Okay, I had cause to read up a case. I won't be providing the citation, but the judge in that case specifically said where there is an element of crime. So if you go and report a civil matter to the police and there is no element of crime in it, that matter should not have gone to the police in the first instance. In fact, the law says the police should advise that person to seek the appropriate steps. But where there's element of crime in the course of the investigation, and then the police can pinpoint that yes, this US started as a civil case, started as a civil matter, and then it has developed to a crime. For example, if you purchase a land and in the course of you trying to take possession or do activities relating to being an owner of that land, some people come on that land also claiming ownership. And while you are still trying to sort it out, one or either side degenerated to fight. There is the use of cutlass, use of sticks, and before you know it, mayhem and chaos on the land. Police can intervene in that matter because going by the statute that created the police, they are to detect and prevent crime, detect and prevent the breakdown of law and order. The matter started as civil. And then in the course of you people fighting over the ownership, related to crime, the police can intervene in that case. But the police cannot intervene beyond the fact that there was a crime or an offense was committed to the point to start deciding who is the rightful owner between the two parties. At that point, the police will have to advise, go and seek appropriate steps.
So let us talk about loan apps, because that's the most trending on this matter. We've seen public embarrassment, threats, and all that. What are the legal framework around this?
Unfortunately, as we have it today, well, thanks to the FCCCPC, that's the Federal Consumer, yes, who has been up and doing with regards to the atrocities being committed by some of these loan apps. In fact, I think in recent times, they had cause to deregister so many just because of the way they operate when they are trying to get their debtors to repay back their loans. They go as far as defaming and publicizing offensive posts about their debtors. Now, like we said from the outset, owing debt is not a crime. And today, as we speak, it has not been criminalized that because you are owing debt, because you are owing someone money, or in this regard, you are owing loan apps money, you are now a criminal. No. So, to get it clear and out, the atrocities being committed by these loan apps is against the law. It's against the law. Like I said, thankfully, the agency in charge of consumer protection, they've been really up and doing as regards the atrocities being committed by these loan apps. And they keep registering and also informing the public that in case you have complaints against some of the activities of these loan apps operators, do your reports to them and they investigate. In recent times, people have actually lodged complaint with this agency, and the agency have had cause to come heavily on some of the operators. I think in one recently decided case that involved one of these loan operators and one of their debtors, he sued them, and the court awarded damages in his favor just because in the bid for the loan app to get back their money, they publicize. In fact, some will go as far as saying that this debtor is HIV positive, this debtor is a kidnapper, is a terrorist. All these are wrong and not the right way to go about getting back your loan. And you'll be surprised, unfortunately, to say that when you even reach out to them, you will tell you their lawyer is already involved in this case and they're taking it off. And yet, they're not, I guess they're not listening to their lawyers, because the lawyers who have advised them this is not the right way to go about this.
When people actually, when they hold money, you've seen cases where the creditors, they went as far as picking up relatives of the debtors. What is the standard? Because my wife wasn't there, my kids, my mother, whoever, they were not there. Why should you go as far as picking up my relatives? Like, what is the position of the law on this?
You see, this keeps happening. If the third party, now the third party now is the person who engineered the arrest, does not know the law, let's just assume for the sake of this argument, does not know the law. The police knows the right thing. It is clear you cannot arrest another person in lieu of the main suspect you're after. That's number one. Number two, owing money, being a debtor, is not a crime. So even for you to go as far as getting the police to arrest your debtor today in Nigeria is wrong.
For educational purpose, I know, for example, in Oyo State, we have what we call small claim courts.
Yes.
And I think they work around debt recovery. Can you educate people on what small claim court is all about?
The emergence of the small claim courts in Oyo State is one of the recent and beautiful innovations that seems that drill or that is drawing the judiciary closer to the people. Why I'm saying this is because if for whatever reasons you cannot afford to get a legal practitioner to defend or take up your matter, if you approach the small claims court present within your jurisdiction, you can file the case yourself, commence the case yourself, and see it to the point of judgment. The small claims court is a court that caters for claims, debts owed below 5 million. So if you know someone or one of your debtors is owing you an amount less than 5 million, you can easily approach this small claims court.
Okay, in case someone finds themselves in this situation, maybe they're invited by police or be threatened because of that, what should they know and what should they do?
And foremost, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Yes, people will say even to get a lawyer today is expensive. If you cannot afford one, the law is that even the police should provide one for you. But we know maybe the police will, before you provide one, they must have threatened that you should just write your statement and write how you pay this money. But the beautiful thing is, even if you write, you make your statement, there is a law that also prescribes how the statement should be taken and should be recorded. So the laws even go as far as saying undertakings made at the police station are not enforceable just because the courts or the law believe that such statements must have been taken under duress portion. So if you find yourself in situations where you have been arrested, get your family members to get a lawyer or insist on your rights. But while you are insisting on your rights, also be sure you are not trying to infuriate them. Now, because the Nigerians find ourselves today, we always better to err on the side of caution.
When we talk about power and system, many people think that whoever has the influence and power have controlled the system. Beyond legal framework, why do we still have this happening every day?
Every Nigerian, if I will put it that way, we always want to show that they have power. As we are seated there, people outside, everyone always want to show. Not sure any other country uses that statement, do you know who I am, more than Nigerians. You know who I am, and even if you are nobody, you know who I am.
You know who I am.
Yes.
I will show you who I am.
Yes, and before you know it, call the police, we've called a relative that knows someone that knows the police. Even, we are not even be the police, might even be the Amotekun, who also now power wielding agents.
But the police, they don't even have the power to prosecute.
Not, you see, they don't even, in fact, some will argue that they don't have power to arrest. They arrest, they can arrest, but that arrest, they must hand that person immediately to the police. But of course, you know, you have had cases where a suspect is already spending a night, 2 nights with Amotekun. Why? But like I said, every Nigeria always wants to wield that little power he or she has.
Lastly, for our legal framework, do you think we have enough laws to actually protect people from his riot, embarrassment, and all sorts? Or do we still need special provisions of the law to actually protect the people?
For me, I think we have enough laws. What we lack is the enforcement. What we also lack is the knowledge. Every day you hear what is happening in the society, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, but the law does not support this. The law is against this. Unfortunately, the law also says ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But then, much more people are still ignorant of what the law says, especially when it comes to the violation of even their own rights. So, for me, we have enough laws. What we need is the education on these laws and the enforcement of these laws. It's still a little bit of argument. In fact, is an ongoing argument of if defamation should be a criminal offense or should still remain at the level of civil. But I'll tell you today that defamation is even included in our criminal code as an offense. It has even been included in the cyberbullying, cybercrime Prohibition Act that prohibits you making false statements, especially online, against or targeted at individuals.
On educating people on their rights, this platform, that is what you are doing. Outside that, how do you think we can do that?
Well, continuous sensitization. Just like we have so many jingles on this and that, I think we should start having jingles also on know your rights. Know your right. This is what the law says. This is not what the law says. Yes, in some instances we've had one or two on also being sponsored by some agencies, government agencies. Sometimes will come out to sponsor ads or jingles on what the law says, but I think we should still have more on this issue so that there will be continuous sensitization of people will know their right. Well, I've said even the Nigerian police should come out and start doing jingles and say a debtor is not an offender. Maybe the day they come out and say that the level of complaint and petition written to the police might drastically drop. Yeah, it will drop.
I think that would be a good innovation, because I'm telling you, don't come to me to report people for owing you money. I think that is a good innovation, and that is a big challenge to the Nigerian police force. Why not from your hand educate the people that the Nigerian police force is not a debt recovery agency? Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
So maybe the real question is not whether this is legal or not, but why things that are not supposed to happen almost every day. And when citizens do not know their rights or feel protected by the system, what does this mean to everyday citizens?